In today's video, we are going to see how we can auto-generate column values using Power Automate or the flow in SharePoint list. And also I will show you how we can do some leading zero operations on that. I'll show you that. So basically, these are the three things that we will discuss here. So if you'll see the first one, basically we will try to create a auto-generated column. So in the first one, we'll append some of the text here. So I just put TS info and then hyphen, and then there is a job category over there, and then another hyphen and the ID of the column. And in the other example, we will say we will take 3 letters from a column. So maybe it's a name column. I'll show you that, and then the ID. And the third one is, you can see here there is 4 times 0 will be appended with ID. So these are the things that we are going to do on this. So now let me open my SharePoint site, and then we will see exactly how we will do these things. Now this is the SharePoint site, and you can see here there are two examples on this. Sorry, 2 lists are there. One is the employees list, another one is the job list. So in those 2 lists, we will try to create different flows, and we will see how we can implement this. So the first one, if you'll see here, there is a title column, then full name, then designation, employee, user ID. This employee user ID is what we are going to create over here automatically by using a flow over here. Now for this, what I'll do is, first thing is we'll create a flow for this, and make sure that this is what we are going to do on this one. So the second example, we'll do it here, something that we will take. Now I will go to flow.microsoft.com. So this is where we can create a flow, and I will click on create, and you can see here automated flow. Now when you click on automated flow, it will ask you for the flow name. So I'll say generate unique ID, and then when this will trigger, when an item is created. So basically the item will be created, and then it will update with the user ID. That's what we are going to do. Now click on create. So once you click on create, you can see here you are coming up with a screen where it will ask you to select the site address and the list name. So I will select this one, and I will select my SP guides, because this is what is the site, and the list is employees. So here if you'll see, it will populate the list and select employees here. Now if you have seen the YouTube video probably, then we have just done this kind of simple examples on this, but here we will add some additional things. Now next thing is, we will create a variable over here. For example, I will click on next step, and here we will first initialize a variable. So this initialize variable, what we'll do is, we'll create a variable, and that value will populate from whatever our formula. So in this case, it will be something like this. We will take these 2 things. So for this, I will select the name of the variable. So let's say I will say unique user or unique ID. Just I'll give unique ID over here, and this is going to be a string, because we are going to create as a string value. And the next thing is the value. So when you will click on this, it will actually show you this dynamic content formula and the expressions, where actually we can create this. So the first thing, if you'll see here, I'll go to the expression, and for example, in this case, you will be able to see various functions over here. So for example, string. So if you'll click on see more, you will be able to see there are a lot more functions over here which we can use, right? So you can see this. The first one is, you can see here concat. So we can use the concat function, and we will try to generate the formula here. Now if we will actually show you here, let me do this thing in Notepad, and then, because it will be easier to write here and you can see the formula. So I will just copy this concat function here. So now this is our concat function. So how we want to create a username over here is, the first thing is, the simple one we will do is, we will try to provide, let's say, TS info and then 1, TS info 2, like this, whatever the ID of this particular item. So when we are talking about the ID column of, let me just add the ID column also. If you'll say edit, or you can just go here and then edit the current view, and we will select the ID column here. So I just click the ID column, Now if you'll see here, we are coming over here. Now I'll just put it here. So now we have the ID column, title, full name, and then employee user ID will be created. So it will be like your whatever the text will take here, TS info and then this ID. So for this I will say concat and I will put single quote here, and here I will say TS info, and if you want to put hyphen you can put a hyphen here. And the next one is the ID value of this particular item. So how we can get it is we can use the trigger body function here, like this trigger body, then question mark, and this is your column, and this is a single line of text. So that's the reason we can give like this. If you have a choice column, then you have to give something like this. We will do that also. Now this is the ID we took, and you can see here I just close the bracket. So I will now copy it. So basically it will concatenate both the things, whatever the ID and this one. So I will just copy and I will go here to our flow. I'll put this expression. You can just click on OK. If any error will be there, then it will show you that this is the error. Now once you have this, then what you will do is we'll have to update the item for this particular list item, right? We have to update this value. So I will just select for update item, and you will see here there is a SharePoint action here, and here also same thing. You will have to select the site name, the list name, employees, and the unique identifier. The moment you will put it over here, it will show you the list item ID. We'll take the title here, and full name you can take here, full name. The designation also you can take, but next thing you can see here, employee user ID, and this is going to be our unique ID which we created over here. You can see this. Now maybe you can also send an email to the person saying that your user ID has been generated and this is what is the user ID. You can take this also, this variable over there. So it's how we can create it. A lot of time you will see here that you will receive email saying that the user ID has been generated and this is what is your username and password, something like that. So you can actually use this one. Now I will just save this workflow because our workflow is saved now. So what we'll do here is I will go to the employee list and we will add one item to the list here. So I'll click on new item and then I will put here Mr. Something, and I will put here, and you can select a designation for this, and I'll not put the employee user ID, but you can see here it is editable, it is there in this list. So the best way is you can hide it. You can click on edit form, go to edit columns, and you simply unselect it, employee user ID column, and then click on save. So now you can see here this column itself is not there. Now if you'll save, your item got saved. Next time when you click on new item, you will not see that column itself in the form. So that's how it is. Now once you have this, then the flow will trigger in the background and it should actually populate this employee user ID column. Now you can see here it auto populated. Now 20 is the ID of this particular column. You can see here. So this item ID is 20. That's the reason it is saying TS info hyphen 20. This is going to be your user ID. And if you look at this flow now, you can see all your flows. If you'll go to my flow, and then you can see here generate user ID, just click on this and then you will be able to see your history. So if you'll click on that, you can also see each step what is the value. So you can see here this is the site name, list name, and then here you can see initialize variable, unique ID, this is the value, and in the update item you can see here you are updating the value here. This is your employee user ID. So this is one way where you can do this, or we saw that how we can use this just to populate the first value. The other one is what we can do is we can actually take some of the characters from the full name. Now let's say this full name has something like you can see here. So you may take the first 3 letters also while creating the user ID. Now for this, what I'll do here is I will just click on edit flow and you go to the initialize variable, because this is what is our function, concat function, and here we are going to modify. Now if you look at this our flow here, so we are simply doing this. This is what is our formula about. And now what we will do is, instead of concatenating these two values, we'll also take a substring of this full name and we will do a concatenate there. Now I will just, so if you'll see here, it will come in between these two. So I will put another comma here, and on that we will take the substring here. So substring, I missed the comma here, you can see. Now substring, and what we are going to use in this substring is, you can see here, the syntax, if you'll see, it is saying, let's put a bracket here, you can see substring. So what is your text? That should be a string. And then what is the stat index, which should be an integer, and the length, how much characters you want to take it, and the index will start from 0. So that's how it will be. Now in this case, what is our text? So text is our full name, or you can see here, this is the column value, and you have to take the internal name, and the internal name is full, no space is there, so full name is the internal value. Now for this, what I'll do is, I have to take something like this, and I'll go here, I will just put this, and instead of ID I will take the full name. Let me copy it and paste it here. So now we took full name, the first parameter, and the second parameter is the index. So from where we want to take from 0 index, means the first characters, and then we will take 3. So it will take 3. So we want 3 characters from the first position. Now you will close the bracket, and then again this is the comma. So the other things are same. Now I will just remove everything, I'll just paste it. You can see update. Once you see update, you can actually save this flow, and then you can after that what you can do is, you can add one more item, and then you can test it here. So once you save it, now what I'll do here is, I will create one more item here, click on new item, then I'll put something here, and I'll put a full name here, and click on save. Remember, it is not asking now our employee user ID, because we have already make hidden of that column. So now the flow will trigger, and then it should give us the value employee user ID. Now it should take 3 characters from here, PHA, and then it should append with the TS info and then 20. So now we can see here, it took TS info hyphen PHA 3 characters, and then 21 directly printed the ID, because we didn't give any hyphen over there. So probably what we can do is, you can provide another hyphen here. So if you will go here, so you can just put here comma, and then you can put hyphen here. So once you do that, it will actually now put a hyphen, and you can actually save it, and from here also you can text it. So you can click on this, and you say that use data source from previous runs. The first one I'll select, I'll click on test, and then it will actually trigger. Now you can see here all these steps successfully triggered. Now if you will come here, you can see here now TS info hyphen VHA hyphen 21. So this is going to be your ID, because we put now hyphen over there. And this is how the other option you can do. If you want to take a drop down value, for example, in this case, if you'll see here, in the job, there's a job category is there, which is a value that is a drop down value or a choice value. So in those scenarios, to take the choice value, you have to just write like this. So basically, to get the value, you have to write like this. So job category, question again, and then value. Not like a single line of text or integer where you can just directly put trigger body function question mark and then in square bracket single quote ID. So this will not work for the drop down values, and you can see here, this is how it will work for the drop down value. So if you will have any drop down, then that value will come like this, else you will get an error on that. So now this is another way where you can do this. Here we'll implement that. The next important thing is we are going to do is we will see we will append a leading zero over there. For example, now let us say I want to put 3 or 4 zeros, something like this. Let's say like this 401, or if it is let's say 10, then it should be actually 3010, and if it is 100, then it should be 2000, and if it is 1000, it should be 0 and then 1000, like this. So this way it should come, the ID should take like that rather than just taking 1 2 3 like this. So this is how we will see how we can create it. Now for doing this we have to do in a different way. Different way means we have to declare a couple of variables and then we will see how we can take it. So now let's see that example here. So in this scenario, basically if you'll see this is we are covering the last one. In this case, if you'll see here there is a TS-info, then plus, and then there is 000 and then your ID. So it should come like this way. So for this, now we will use the jobs, this list, and here what we will do is I will create a flow for this. So we'll go to flow.microsoft.com and we will create the same flow here. So click on create and then automated flow. I'll give a name here. So leading zero flow example, and then when an item is created, the same thing. And here I will select the SP guides list, and in this case I'll select the list as the job list. So you can see here jobs list. Click on new step. So the first one is what we will do here is we will try to take zeros. So how many zeros exactly you will do? So I'll take a variable here. So you can see here initialize variable, that one I'll take, and I will say zeros. So this is what is the variable I'm taking. Now see what I'm doing here is type string, and I will say here, let's say 5 zeros. We want to fix it for 5 zeros. Now if you want to make it to 6, you can put another 0. Okay, now once you have this, next thing what we will do is we will check what is the length of the ID column. So for example, let's say the length of the ID, let's say the item ID is 10, so it will be, the length will be 2. If the item ID is 5, then it will be 1. If the item ID is 100, then length will be 3. So if it is 1000, then length will be 4. Now we will try to do a subtraction, how many zeros are there from how many what is the length of this. For example, here let's say 5. So if you'll see the length is 2, that means you have to append 3 zeros here. So I'll create a new step here and I will add another variable here, and same initialize variable I will take here, and here what we'll do is we will say leading zeros. So here basically we are deciding how many leading zeros will be there for this item. Now how many it will be? For example, I will say let's say this will be a string also, and on this basically first thing what we will do is we will try to find out what is the length of this ID column. So basically the length you will get it from is a formula like this. Let me just put it here. So if I will take something like this length, this will be giving me the length of this particular, let me put it here. So now this one will give you the length of this ID column. So so you can see here I am taking this as a string, I am converting this because trigger body will give you the ID. So let's say the item ID is 10, it will give you 10. Then you can see here we have to make it to string so that we can get the length of this. Length means if it is 2 characters or 3 characters or 1 character, that's what is the length meaning here. So once we have that, then what we will do is we will subtract from here. So we will basically subtract from here. Now if this length whatever we are getting, then we'll subtract from here so that we will be able to know how many zeros we require. So in this case you can see here there is a subtract function. So if we'll actually go here, there is a, if you'll go to the expression see more, then you can see here there is a subtract function is there. you can see here add and subtract. So two things are there. So when we are doing this, then we have to actually subtract based on the length. So we'll do that. So what will be the subtract function? This is going to be your subtract function. So the subtract will basically, if you'll see here, the subtract will take the length of variable. So in this case, the variable I am taking is zeros. So you can see here, this is going to be my variable. Okay, and so this will give the length. Of course, it will give 5 in this case. But let's say you add 2 more zeros, then it will give you 7. So now 7 minus the length of this one. So that means it will give us 5. So this one actually give you how many zeros you want. And once you have this, then you can this will give you the length, and then you can actually substring it. So I will put additional substring here, and on that, if you will see here, I will close the bracket, another one. So the substring, what it will do is, that means we will now do here a substring on this one. So what it will do is, it will actually, we will take the substring from here, so that let's say the length we got, the subtraction is 5 or subtraction is 2, that means we will take it 3. So 3 zeros we have to take it here. So now what we will do here is, if we will go here, you can see here substring, and then we will do a subtract here. So we will take this one here, it will be basically zeros. Okay, and substring we will do from 0 to the length. So substring, when you are taking a substring, you have to pass 3 parameters. First one is on which string you want to do the substring, from which character we want to take it from 0, and then how many characters where you got the length. So now actually, if you will just copy it here, and I will go here and go to the expression and then put it. So I'll click on OK. There's showing and some error is there. So let me just figure it out. So there was an extra bracket which was missing. So I put this one, you can see here. So now basically here we got to know how many leading zeros that we have to provide on this. So once you have this, now what we will do is, we'll have to create the string here. So for this, we will create another variable. So you can see, I'll go here, I'll create another variable, and this time also same initialize variable, and this is going to be our final value. So I'll just put final value, the variable name. I'll click on string. So we will take the type as string, and next is we want to concatenate something here. So I will take this concatenate. So which one we want to concatenate? First thing is, we will take ts info here, and then next thing is, you can see, we will probably take let's take this one from here, the job category, which is a drop down column or the choice column, and I will show you. This is, as I said before, this is how you can take the value of this particular drop down or choice value. So job category and then question mark value here. So our formula, so it will be like this one, and you can see here we took the job category. So now we have 2 values over there, and the third value is what is our that variable that we got it from here. So the leading zeros. So you can see here the third one will be, so you have to write it again. So better we will do that in Notepad first. So let me use this. So concat, first thing is this one concat, and then we will concat here ts info, and next is I'll put the comma, and we will put the value of that job category. So this is how we can get the job category here. So we got 2 values, you can see here. The third one is the variable value. So the variable that we took here is the leading zeros. So how many leading zeros that we will take here? So it will be variables, and then you will put single quote and then leading zeros. This is how we can get the value here. And the third one is the ID. So I will take this one. So now if you'll see here, we have we can generate this ID will be like this. So I'll just copy it, I'll put it here, click on OK. Hopefully this is correct only. You can see here. So now we have done this. The next step is we will add one more here just to update the list value. So I will write a update column here, update item, and then this will be for the same list. So I'll put the list as jobs, and then we have the title or ID will be the ID, title will be the title, description will be the job description. Job category, remember when you will put job category, it will show you the values better. You will go to the custom value and then you say job category value, because we need to whatever user has selected, we cannot just hard code something. And then the job ID is our final value. Hopefully now it should be fine, so I'll just hide it. Now save this flow. So you can see here we save this flow, our flow is ready now. Next what I'll do is again save the flow. Our flow is saved now. I'll go to the job list. You can see here this is the job list. I'll click a new item, so I'll put here something, and sorry, this is a job, so I'll say SharePoint job openings. Now I'll put here this is a SharePoint job openings, and then job category will select. So I'll select SharePoint here. Job ID, again as I said, you can edit the column, you can uncheck this job ID, click on save, so that we don't want that to be manually entered. Now click on save. So once you click on save, you can see here now the job ID will be automatically should be updated from our flow. Now let me just refresh once. Let's see whether this flow is triggered or not. Not yet triggered. So I'll put the formula also, but let it just wait for a couple of seconds. So once it will trigger, if either it will show a successful message or a failure, and if it is a failure, then we have to see what is the problem. So now you can see here it showed me a succeeded message here, our history of this example. Now let's go back to the jobs. Now you can see here, so TS info, then SharePoint, then you can see here triple times 011, because the ID of this one is actually the ID of this one is actually 11. If it will be 1, then it will take one more 0. So if it is become 100, then it will reduce one more 0. So this is like how we can do an example on leading zeros. I'll put this formulas, so I can understand this formulas whatever we use in this flow. So you can see here this is the variable and things like that. So you can see, and also I'll try to zip this one, and then I'll put this flow as well, so that you will be able to see here how many variable that we have created, what is the formula that we wrote here, and how our final value is coming, and then this is the update item where we are updating the job ID. So I'll put this formulas also in the text of this video, so that you will get it. So see you in another video.